Wow! I'm ready! When it's time to party, we will party hard.
Huh? That was fucking loud, dude. That wasn't that loud, dude.
It's because your phone is all the way up. You've done it again. Welcome to the Boken Boys Gamble Their Rent Away.
Unlike my dick.
Part O.
That's all the way up, I'm saying. My penis is not all the way up.
Not with these new secret pills.
I have yet to take a Roman.
Roman swipes?
No, they're pills. That's straight up like sildenafil, which is like the active ingredient of Viagra.
You should get the swipes.
I kind of want to just take one and jerk off a lot. I also want to see if it works when I'm drunk. So Saturday, Schleier's party, I'm coming home and going to town on myself.
Oh, that was funny.
I wish I was kidding. If any ladies would like to come over,
namely,
you'll probably be unimpressed, but there is a potential for the first time in forever that I won't unimpress.
Also, potential for death. So you might.
I probably will have a heart attack.
You might find it.
No one give me any cocaine at any party on Saturday. No one give me any meth, any Molly. Don't
Heroin?
give me any drugs.
Heroin? You've only named the uppers.
I wouldn't. Well, I don't do downers. I'm not a downer guy. I'm a happy guy.
Sometimes you got to level yourself out.
Yeah, that's on Sundays when I lose bets.
Yeah. Which is technically not often if you were betting correctly. Every game.
Yeah, so I was telling you about this. Obviously, my picks this year are a total of the picks I give you, 35 and 48 for minus 76 units. My lock of the week is 3 and 10. But
you lost how much rent?
So much. 75 units and they're $100. $7,500, which are rent. Let's see,
yeah, you're paying $1,600 every 2 months.
32, 60. Wait, what did I say? 7,500.
Yes.
So 9 divided by 73 is 6.
Yes.
So 6 months rent. I would have lost 6 months rent if I actually just listened to myself.
And this is the Boken Boys Gamble Their Rent Away. Chris did it. I didn't.
Shut up.
Going 5 for 5 in the final week.
Good for you, bro.
All right. Let me go into my picks from last week. There weren't any.
I didn't have any either. Well, I did have picks last week.
All right. I'll jump into my college football picks. And there's one, my luck. So there's only one. Okay. All right.
There's chicks in here, man.
So there's only one real, Appalachian State's playing, but I can't count that. So there's only one real college bowl game, the Las Vegas
State.
Bowl. Washington at Boise State. Hold on. So Boise State, I'm basing this off nothing because they play in the MWAC? Is that right? The Mountain West Conference?
Boys in the Mountain West.
Yeah, so it's the MWAC.
No one says that.
MWAC. Against Washington, who plays in the Pac-12, who had one good win this year, but Boise's 12-1.
Washington's a powerhouse, though. They've been to the college football playoff. They're a perennial pick to win and a favorite to win the Pac-12.
Yeah, but this is the Las Vegas Bowl, bro.
And what was the rationale, which I asked you about before? Why you're
Boise
betting
State
on Boise
seems
State?
to win big games in bowl games that they shouldn't win.
Correct. And like I said, they've won.
They're ranked.
We don't actually.
They're 12-1 this year.
You
They're
have
ranked.
no idea if it's a fact that they're good in bowl games. You just know
There's
that
like
one
three-
time they
three.
beat Oklahoma, and then another time they had a big win. But they've been in a bowl every year. You know that. So
The
fact-
Statue of Liberty. They ran the
Correct.
Statue of
that was
Liberty.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So the fact that you know about that and maybe one more, they've been in like 11 straight or 12 straight bowl games. So you know they've won 2.
Correct. But they probably won a lot of other ones as well.
Probably. See, this is where I would bet the same thing. I'm an idiot. I would just be like, well, of course they're good. So
I'm going to take them 3.5 plus 3.5. They're underdogs in Las Vegas against Washington.
they do after they won the Oklahoma game, they lost 2 straight bowl games.
Yeah, but nobody cares about that. They care about the big wins here.
So they have 7. If we count the Oklahoma game, they're 8-4 in bowl games.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
So Boise State plus 3.5.
It says here the first responder bowl of December 26, 2018 against Boston College just didn't happen. Why?
I don't know.
It said no contest.
Oh, it might have been like a blizzard, like an actual storm that they couldn't play the game, and they don't reschedule a bowl game. I think that happened. Didn't that happen like a Temple Bowl game or something? Temple Bowl games. Bob knows about those.
The game was delayed in the first quarter after Boston College took a 7-0 lead, went into a weather delay due to lightning and repeated strikes.
Yes, that was it. There was like lightning all over the place for college games last year.
So they just basically canceled the game.
Yes,
So
I remember this.
But they were losing.
Yeah, but they didn't lose.
They are 1-1 in their last 3 bowl games with a no contest that they were losing.
Interesting.
So you're just picking them based on the name.
Boise State plus 3.5. And that was my.
I don't have any picks this week,
And
I'll tell you why. Week 16.
let's just call Stu and start there.
Fine.
Your logic is stupid as hell.
Well, his logic, he's going to tell us about the worms. While I respect everything that Stu does, everything that you're about to hear in this phone call is a total load of shit. Because week 16 and week 17, there is no way anyone has any fucking idea what's going on.
Well, nobody has any idea what's going on all year.
You have a better idea. How does his model predict the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game? How? Mike Evans is out. Chris Godwin's out. Jameis Winston's throwing a fucking Greg. Oh, no, that's the Philly. Even Philly. How does anyone predict a Philly game? Philly's throwing to a guy named Greg Ward, who was a quarterback in college. That's their receiver that they're throwing the ball to every play. Who the fuck? How do you handicap that? This is the first time Philly has had. They have no one who's caught more than 20 passes in the wide receiver slot. It's week fucking 16. How do you handicap that game? In their career, no one's caught more than 20. It's week 16. How do you handicap that game?
How's Miles Sanders doing?
Great, he's a running back. They have to run the ball or throw the tight ends. Nothing else can happen. They're throwing to a college quarterback. And it's not Julian Edelman out there.
It's not a towel out there. You're a towel. I just want to let you know you, sir, are a towel.
Fuck Kyle Federico.
I'm going to give a shout out to Kyle Federico.
Are we calling Stu?
Yeah. Let's
We
do
have to-
that.
we have to discuss the parameters of our...
Do 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 do
Oh, Z, I didn't know you were there.
And joining us live via the telephone for his picks from OwlEatsFootball.com, Stu the Elephant.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I've missed you guys.
It's good to have my dignity back.
You have no dignity.
Yeah, he only has one less dignity than last time we spoke. It's been a back and forth battle of dignity.
What was your dignity bet?
That was all the way back
Come on.
to Cowboys Pats, but
Well, we split our 2 dignities on the last bet. However, I had lost one previous.
exactly.
So
But I'm trying to get my Twitter followers up, so I'm trying to start a Twitter beef with you guys, and I think we might have another dignity bet in the works.
You just throw water on it, it goes away.
Here's the thing.
It's like a cat. It spritz water on
I only tweet once every 30 years, so you're not going to gain any Twitter followers from me. However, Chris I'm all in on the dignity bet.
Someone here ran social media for Quinnipiac, and someone didn't. Can you name which one did?
That was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, in a galaxy far, far away.
So Stu, let's discuss the parameters first. Then we can get into this week's games because I have a lot to get off my chest.
Hold on, Stu. Chris here believes.
No, we'll get into that after. Let's discuss the parameters of our bet first.
Okay.
So I would like to pick every playoff game.
Okay.
And we could do it, if you'd like, we could either do most games called correctly. We could do it, you get 1 point for the first round, 2 points for the second round, etc. We could do a survivor pool, in a sense, where you pick the spread of the game, so you could pick technically the loser. If the loser wins, you advance with the winner.
Can I interrupt and jump in here? Stu, I would suggest you set the parameters and don't let Chris set the parameters. Because whatever the parameters are, there's going to be a loophole where he somehow beats those parameters.
Probably.
Yes. So I would suggest you set them.
Well, my gut feeling is we should go as simple as possible. So
Smart.
I think we should pick every game against the spread, and 1 point for every game, 2 points for the Super Bowl, or we could do more than 2 for the Super Bowl, and then whoever has the most points gets all the dignity.
Now, will we be submitting our bracket ahead of time, or will we do it round by round?
Ahead of time.
You think ahead of time? Well, we can't pick against the spread ahead of time.
That's a good point. So let's do it round by round. So
I think
I agree to the parameters of your bet. We will do 1 point for the first round.
No, how about this? You have to. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that because the only way the spread technically should be affected for any of the next games is if you pick the winners of those
always be
games.
affected.
No, if someone gets hurt,
it could be home or away in the later rounds.
Correct.
That's very important.
Yes, but if you pick the correct winners and you get to that round, you already know. You should know what is going to happen.
Not true. You don't know who they're going to be playing. What if you pick the home team to win and they're playing the 6 seed instead of the 2 seed?
Well, no, because if you pick the winners round one, every round
Stu,
as you pick the
Bones
winners.
being an idiot. I'm going to go with you here. We'll pick every game as they go. We could do 1 point for the first 2. We'll do 1 point for every round. We'll do 2 points for the conference championship, and we'll do 3 points for the Super Bowl.
So as the mediator, Stu, what you see,
Love
you may not see what's happening, but he just dictated the parameters of said rules.
Yeah, he thinks he did, but I've sowed the seeds and I'm watching them grow. And
You would say
I think what we should do is we should have to text Bones our picks before the show, and then we'll reveal them on the show.
I agree with that.
that sounds good to me. I like
And
that.
then I trust Bones to be impartial,
I'm impartial. I may be more I might have some 51% to you, Stu.
Yeah.
And 49.
Definitely losing in this one. So we agree 1 point for all the first 2 rounds, 2 points for the conference championship, 3 points for the Super Bowl.
Yep, picked by the show on Wednesday against whatever the spread is at that time.
Correct.
Picked on Wednesday. You got it. And let's see. We're going to do this for infinite dignities and a monetary of your choosing, a monetary value of your choosing.
Well, yeah, infinite dignity. Just all the dignity each of us has is on the line. All in on dignity.
Dignity.
A billion snatches, I think, is a fair number.
Fair. I agree.
What is a
And then-
snatch equivalent to?
Well, the snatches are just, we would have those in reserve for next season.
6 quarks equal a snatch.
Ah, that's right. That's correct.
And then $50 just for the mainstream sheet who want money on the line.
Okay, and how about this? If I win, I agree to take that $50 and make a trophy out of it and engrave my name on it.
Yeah. No. But if he loses, so you should say he has to take that $50 and buy a trophy with your name on it.
Oh.
Because you can do whatever you want with the.
Well, he could just take the money. What if he wants the money, Bones? Why are you going to
The money is mine.
That?
Mine. It's mine.
I'm just telling you what I'm doing with
Life
my
for
money
this.
because I'm going to win, so it doesn't matter.
The money is mine.
I think that's fair. We could even just scratch the money and say we each contribute $25 and we buy a trophy and the winner gets their name on it.
Bones, do you agree to this?
Well, the winner. The loser has to pay the winner $50, or the loser has to buy the entire trophy. I don't think you split the money because there's no winner or loser in that scenario.
All right, the loser buys the trophy.
Loser buys the trophy. I love it.
And
winner picks the trophy.
Correct.
Yes,
so I will be picking the trophy. I'm thinking about just making it a penis inside of a glove. I'm thinking just maybe 5 dicks with a football glove over them.
Okay.
That's what I was going to pick too. So maybe we should just have that.
What would go good around those dicks? Universal socks.
Oh God. All right, so the parameters have been set. Let's get into Week 16, and I'm going to say something out loud right now that you might not agree with, but you're full of shit if you think you can predict Week 16 and Week 17 games.
I agree with that in principle, but I think that by knowing that, by admitting that I can't pick them, then I become able to pick them.
That's some fucking voodoo mind shit right there. I don't even know what to say to that.
That's some worms.
Got worms?
Yeah, well, Worms had a pretty bad week last week, but my theory is that Worms is going to become less useful in Week 16 and 17 for exactly what Chris is talking about. Just, shit's going to hit the fan and we don't know what's going to happen. Except now that we admit that, we know what's going to happen.
Because I'm looking at this slate, and I was going over the slate with Bones earlier, and I was trying to tell him, and I was going through every game, and I was giving him a huge reason as to why these games are bullshit. Like, how the hell can you handicap the Tampa Bay game with Evans out, with Godwin out? Mm-hmm. How do you handicap that game?
I'm touching a water glass. I
You
just want to spray
can.
her with water, though.
Thank you. That's what I thought.
Can you put your hand in there? Don't hail me.
Bones is being I don't know. Sorry. So how do you handicap a game like that? Give me your expertise.
Well, so I was all ready to be all over Tampa Bay if even Godwin was in. They've put up 35, 38, 38 in 3 of their last 4 games, and Houston is just all over the map. But a game like that, I'm leaning towards Houston just because Tampa Bay doesn't seem to have anybody they can throw the ball to, and that's all they do. But I think the key to being successful in Week 16 and 17 is betting bigger positions on fewer games. So I got a few games that I feel really, really strongly about, and then the rest of them I'm just going to kind of ignore.
Tell me what you feel strongly about, and I'll tell you why it's bullshit that you think that you feel strongly.
Well, I feel incredibly strong about Minnesota -4 against Green Bay, at home against Green Bay.
Okay.
Minnesota has the 4th best point differential in the league, which is not like a end-all be-all stat, but it's pretty indicative of team strength. And Green Bay, meanwhile, has basically the same point differential as a team like the Rams. So Minnesota is better than their record, and Green Bay is worse than their record. Green Bay has Devontae Adams, and then Aaron Jones is having a great season, but he's scored as many touchdowns as Christian McCaffrey on almost half the touches. So he's definitely due to hit a wall at some point. And basically, I just think Minnesota is a good team, and the Packers are frauds.
All right, but
quick question.
Go ahead.
Is Dalvin Cook in or out this week?
Well, so it looks like Dalvin Cook is out and Alexander Madison is out, which would be concerning.
Yeah, I would not take this then.
Except their 3rd-string running back, Mike Boone, is an absolute beast, and he dominates every preseason. And he had a great game last week. They are essentially the same team. Like, Dalvin Cook is great, but their running game isn't great because of Dalvin Cook. Their running game is great because of their offensive line and their play action.
And they have C.J. Ham as well.
Yes. If you use a fullback, you're favored. That's my flaw.
I just have one statement and/or question for you. Well, let me ask you a question. What time is the game, and what day of the week is the game?
It's a Monday night game.
Okay. And how is Kirk Cousins, A, in prime time, and B, in general, at any other time slot than Sunday at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, regression. He's due.
He's been doing better.
He wins.
He did great this year.
He wins 33% of his games when it's not on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
How many games is that based off of?
I don't
Small
have,
sample size. That's what it is.
He plays in prime. He was 0-10 on primetime football alone.
And he wasn't.
Yeah,
this
a
year.
lot of that was with the Redskins.
Correct.
And
A Redskins team that had made the playoffs. They weren't a bad team.
With a running quarterback set up for a running quarterback offense, not a pocket passer.
I'm just going to say it's something about him and his internal clock, which many people have reported on, that he is a man of routine, and this takes him out of his routine, which makes him not as good in prime time.
I believe it's pronounced rootin'.
So I can see that, but we also know he's a pretty fiery individual. There's that famous
You like that?
Exactly, spot on impression. And he just got snubbed for the Pro Bowl, which is inexplicable that Aaron Rodgers made the Pro Bowl over him or over Dak Prescott.
Well, that was-
and so I have a feeling he might be a little fiery for this game.
That was a publicity stunt to promote more gay athletes.
Correct.
In the NFL.
The LGBT community needs a win every now and then. That was a win for the LGBT community.
Did you hear that?
LGBTQIA community plus.
Oh, yes. Well, you can explain that to me off air because I got lost in there. But I'm pretty sure Kirk Cousins is pro-gay people. I don't know.
No, well, Aaron Rodgers is gay, so the NFL wants to promote their only gay athlete.
Oh, that's good to know.
What about Michael Sam?
Michael Sam is not in the NFL.
Anymore?
I don't think he ever really, he barely played.
Well, whatever.
Well, that's Chris.
All right, well, so I guess that's one game you can kind of pick,
Okay.
but I don't agree with the pick, but I'll let you have it. What do you got next?
If you're not sold on that one, this next one and the third one are both just guaranteed locks.
Okay.
Denver -7 at home against Detroit is quite possibly the biggest miss line of the week. I think Denver should be closer to a 9, possibly 10-point favorite. Detroit is without its number 1 tight end, its number 1 running back, its number 2 wide receiver, and its number 1 quarterback and number 2 quarterback. David Blau is 0-3 in his 3 starts, and he has thrown 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. They are averaging 15 points a game in their last 3 games. Meanwhile, Drew Lock is an absolute stud. We're going to make this our dick pick of the week because there's no way that Drew Lock doesn't pack more heat than David Blau.
Wow.
And it's at home in Denver, too. So that adds on to it.
Drew Lock put up 3 points last week against a bad defense.
In 6 inches of snow.
Patrick Mahomes put up 23 points against a pretty good defense in 6 inches of snow.
Different
Yes,
quarterback.
also at home. But I'll throw out there, too, that if Cortland Sutton caught that touchdown that got knocked out of his hands, it would have been a very different game. But
Same for my
Detroit
fantasy team. Would have been a very different game. Ruined my fantasy.
Oh, my goodness.
Fun
We can't
fact
talk
about
it.
6 inches of snow, it would be questionable if my dick would ever be able to penetrate the bottom of it.
Well, yeah, and you sound like you have a David Blau syndrome over there.
Yeah,
because
David
you would-
Blau. That's your new name, David Blau.
Well, I'm not the one who struggled in the snow last week. That was Drew Lock.
David?
Oh, David Lock. No,
David Blau.
David, Lock.
What are you talking about, David?
Lock.
Mr. Blau.
Any
So,
Vic Fangio coach team, I can't trust. And Matt Patricia has the blessing of the ownership to stay on for
To
another
suck
year.
for another year.
So he wants to get a win though, and then turn this club around.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need to get
I
away.
don't think. Yeah, exactly. He's fat and happy. He's just going to kick back, coach into next year, and
Every time
Meanwhile-
a coach gets a vote of confidence from the owner, they get fired 2 weeks later. Everyone knows that. So he needs to win this game.
so, yeah, he's on the hot seat now that he's got a vote of confidence.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just point out the Broncos before that game against Kansas City had beaten the Texans and had won their previous game against a team that I can't remember now, but the Chargers. So the Chargers aren't good, but they're a team that not everybody beats.
Some would even say
And-
they're bad.
They only scored 3 points against the Bills the week before that, just so you know.
But that was before Drew Lock. That was pre-Drew Lock.
We don't talk about Brandon Allen on this podcast.
Only Kyle
Precisely.
Allen. Only Kyle Allen.
No, I think
Will
Kyle
Greer.
Allen's canceled.
Will Greer.
It's only Josh.
We're all in on Will Greer.
Country
Oh,
roads.
I could hear that.
All right,
So
what else
that's
you got?
My third pick, and I'm going with 3 favorites here. I don't really have an upset for you this week, but I love Atlanta -7.5. They are playing Jacksonville this week, and although Jacksonville just won their last game, that was against the Raiders in a really pathetic, weird game. And before that, Jacksonville had been outscored by 117 points in their previous 4 games. And so they are bad. And I don't know if you've been following the Tom Coughlin news recently, but he keeps losing all these cases against players who he tried to find massive amounts of money, and they keep getting that money back.
Now,
And
I did read that 25% of all grievances were filed against the Jaguars. However, was that the same player who they indicated in that was probably Jalen Ramsey? Did he just file a grievance every time they fined him? So is that why the number is 25%?
no, it wasn't Jalen Ramsey. I'm forgetting who it was, but somebody missed treatments that weren't mandatory and got fined for them every single time he missed them.
Correct. So
Leonard Fournette.
my question is, was he just filing a grievance every time they fined him?
Leonard Fournette.
Well, no, Leonard Fournette also won one for $99,000 because he was fined for sitting on the sidelines when he was suspended by the team or something, and he won that. So it's not just former players, it's current players. Clearly, they've given up on their season. They are without their best receiver. They're hemorrhaging points. They're not scoring points. And Atlanta, meanwhile, has beaten San Francisco and New Orleans in the past month and is playing well. So that seems Atlanta's at home for that game. That seems like a double-digit win for Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta really likes losing twice in a year because they want to make sure they drop really far in the draft. They want to just keep winning games. Get them as close to 31 as possible.
They're in such a weird position because they're not tanking and they don't have a roster where they should be tanking, but they also don't have any path to being a serious contender in the next couple of years. So they just got to play for pride. Meanwhile, Jacksonville is just packing it up early, and there you go. I do like Miami -1 against Cincinnati, speaking of teams that are packing it up.
I was just about to ask, how would you handicap a game like Miami against Cincinnati? Both teams have quite literally nothing to play for. They're not motivated. Both of their coaches are safe, so they don't have to play for the coach because they're both first-year coaches.
Where's this game?
It's in Miami.
Okay, so it's not Andy Dalton's last game.
But they both have first-year head coaches. Fitzpatrick, yeah he's going to play hard. But Cincinnati won their game. They blew their load to get their one win, so they don't really give a shit about the rest of the games as much. I can't handicap a game like that. I can't handicap the Giants against the Redskins. You don't even know who's playing quarterback. You don't know if either team cares. What else? I was going to say the Denver-Detroit game. The Oakland Chargers game. That game could be 50-0 either way, and I could tell you that I wasn't surprised.
I agree with that, yeah.
I just think it's a tough week.
It is. This is not a week for reasoned sports betting. It's a week for gambling. You just kind of got to throw a couple darts and just, someone's going to win each game. So you go with who you think. I got 3 solid games for you to make sure you're making money. And then from there, just whoever you feel like, go based off hand size.
I hope all of your worms and picks come true, Stu.
Same with you until the playoffs, and then I'm going to destroy you.
Ooh.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That was our lead sponsor and guest picker every week from OwlEatsFootball.com, home of the worm, Stu.
Worms.
The elephant.
Bye, Stu.
Thanks, fellas. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for coming live via phone call, via recorded podcast.
Still live.
Still alive.
Bye.
All right. See you, bud.
All right. We have the bet in the books now. We will submit our picks to you. We have a couple weeks before this happens, but we will submit our picks to you on Wednesday. It is for infinite dignities, a billion snatches, and for a trophy between Stu and I as the girls talk in the other room.
You can't stop. I don't think. You remember when we made that bet, or we talked about that bet? Could you not talk for $1 billion for a year? You can't talk.
Total loss there.
Yeah. For any amount of money. Answer is no.
I could just pretend it's a Sunday every time for me, and I wouldn't talk ever.
You could. You could just gamble every day. You have to be like, I'm winning this if I just gamble every day. Go into as much debt as possible because I will win this $1 billion.
That's all I got for this week. I advise everyone to stay away from every game.
It's so terrible.
Don't bet on anything this week. Bet on, as they get louder, a little bit louder now. I don't even know.
Zero respect. It's okay.
Don't bet anything.
All right. Goodbye.
Hello?
Wow! I'm ready! A tea time! When it's time to party, we will party hard.